He had nothing to do with it. President Trump has clean hands. He's not worried about it. I talk to him all the time. He has nothing to do with this. He's frustrated that they're turning it into a political issue, and it's not surprising because the Democrats have nothing else to talk about. What have they accomplished in 10 months? Epstein is their entire game plan. So we're going to take that weapon out of their hand this week. They hit the 218 signature threshold. And you know what I did? I offered it on the floor to pass by unanimous consent, the discharge petition. Guess who objected? The Democrats. If they were really for transparency, if this is really about helping victims and all that, they would not have stopped the passage of the discharge petition. So it'll be on the floor again next week. I suspect there'll be lots of votes that will just get this done and move it on. There's nothing to hide. And the Oversight Committee is releasing far more information than the discharge petition, their little gambit, ever even anticipated. They never even mention in the discharge the Epstein estate files, and that is the treasure trove of documents that's given us Epstein's flight logs, his personal records, his financial ledgers, his daily calendar. None of that was anticipated. So the discharge is totally moot. It is a political exercise, and we're going to dispense with that this week.
It's the scandal that never really went away. Remember the controversial Washington, D.C.'s photo stop last month? Two life-size statues, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, staring each other down on the National Mall. And this week, it's back in Washington's bloodstream. Newly released Jeffrey Epstein emails, pulled out of his estate by the House Oversight Committee, have jolted political circles again. This time, because of one name that appears repeatedly. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee dropped a new batch of Epstein's private emails, spanning over 15 years, between the convicted sex offender, his longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell, and author Michael Wolff. In those emails, Epstein mentions Trump multiple times, claiming that Trump knew about the girls, and even naming a woman who Democrats describe as a trafficking victim. In one 2011 email, Epstein writes to Maxwell, "That dog that hasn't barked is Trump. XXX spent hours at my house with him." To which Maxwell replies, "I've been thinking about that."
It's because Republicans are running a pedophile protection program. They are intentionally hiding the Jeffrey Epstein files. But those days are over. Because as soon as Representative-elect Alalita Grijalva becomes Congresswoman Grijalva, her first act, as she's indicated, is going to be to sign that discharge petition. It's going to force a vote on the House floor, and the American people are going to get the transparency that they deserve.
Republican members of the committee say that redacted woman's name was Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's most well-known accusers, who tragically died by suicide earlier this year. She had once worked at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort as a teenager, but never accused Trump of wrongdoing. The Republicans have expectedly hit back, asking, why did Democrats cover up the name when the estate didn't redact it in the documents provided to the committee? They claim Democrats are trying to create a fake narrative to slander President Trump. In her memoir, Nobody's Girl, Giuffre even recalled Trump as friendly, asking if she liked kids and if she babysat. That's it. No allegations, no misconduct.
In both those cases, our current president, President Trump, and our former president, President Clinton, she met at a dinner, in Epstein's orbit, never saw any wrongdoing. And the same with Trump. She did not meet him in Epstein's orbit. She met him at Mar-a-Lago Spa, which he owns, where she worked when she was 16, which is where Ghislaine Maxwell walked up to her in the spa and procured her for Epstein, deceived her into going to Epstein's house. And that very day, Ghislaine and Jeffrey sexually abused her. But as far as Donald Trump went, and we made this clear even when we announced the book, there's nothing in the book that implicates Donald Trump. The thing I would say about Donald Trump that was important to Virginia is that he campaigned for his return to the presidency, in part, on releasing the Epstein files. I was with Virginia in October, just weeks before the presidential election, and she felt incredibly validated by that a former president who was hoping to be president again was calling for, justice for these women. I don't know what's happened since, but that was something that was very important to Virginia, and she felt she was a fan of Donald Trump's because she thought he was on her side.
Epstein's 2008 conviction for soliciting prostitution with a minor got him 18 months in a cushy Florida prison, of which he served only 13. Trump's connection with Epstein dates back years before that. Their names once popped up together at Palm Beach parties and in guest lists. But Trump has since claimed he banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago for being a creep.
No, I was never briefed. No. You make it a very big thing over something that's not a big thing. You should be talking about, if you're going to talk about that, talk about Clinton, talk about the former president of Harvard, talk about all of his friends, talk about the hedge fund guys that were with him all the time. Don't talk about Trump. What you should be talking about is the fact that we have the greatest 6 months in the history of a presidency, according to a lot of people.
Now, these newly unearthed emails show Epstein still referencing Trump years later, even during Trump's presidency in 2019. In one 2019 email to author Michael Wolff, Epstein pushes back on Trump's version of events, writing, "Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop." That's a direct contradiction of Trump's long-held claim that he threw Epstein out for stealing young spa workers. Author Michael Wolff, best known for his Trump tell-alls, told CNN he barely remembers the context, but confirmed Epstein often spoke about Trump. In another email, dated December 2015, the night of a CNN Republican debate, Wolff warns Epstein, "I hear CNN planning to ask Trump about you." Epstein responds, "If we were able to craft an answer for him, what should it be?" To which Wolff writes, "Let him hang himself. If he lies, you gain leverage. If he wins, you save him, and he owes you." The email reads like a psychological chessboard between a disgraced financier and a future U.S. president. Ghislaine Maxwell, serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking, told Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche in an interview this year that she never saw Trump act inappropriately, and that he was a gentleman in all respects. So Epstein's words say one thing, Maxwell's testimony says another. The question now, what do the emails actually prove? The emails' release is part of a broader tug-of-war in Congress over Epstein's government files. Files that Trump's own Justice Department once sealed, insisting his 2019 death was suicide. Democrats say more transparency is needed. Republicans say it's selective exposure, timed to embarrass Trump ahead of the election year. Either way, the political fallout is only just beginning. With a new vote coming up to declassify Epstein-related files, one thing's certain. This isn't the last time Washington will say the name Epstein, or the word emails.